Hi everyone, Dave Shroder back with your UK roundup on weighing in with Travis Hartman, and we are going to fly through this because I've got some opinions about the heavyweight division I want to get to. But first off, we're going to run through the British fighters on the Knockout Chaos card in Saudi Arabia this past Friday. First up, and it was a long card. I watched it all. I was working from home. It was like 9 hours. I was climbing the walls. It was a long card. But first off, early, like 11 o'clock in the morning, Roman Fury fought, who is Tyson's third brother, his other brother. He laboured to a 4-round points decision against some Albanian taxi driver. It was not great. He's using it as a way of losing weight, I believe, and he's getting paid for it. So, I mean, good on him. He's never going to do anything else. He's just going to be on Tyson's undercards, I think. He's not great. There was a good performance from an up-and-coming British fighter, Mark Chamberlain, on the card. He's the Turki Al Sheikh's favourite fighter apparently now, so he gets on these Saudi cards. I'd first seen him in the last Ngannou fight, and he was superb, working his way up the lightweight division, and was excellent in stopping his opponent in 3.5 rounds in the middle of the fourth. It was a strong performance. He's quick, he's powerful. Yeah, I can see why His Excellency likes Chamberlain, and I can see him on a lot more of these cards in Saudi coming up, especially because he's his favourite. Nick Ball fought Vargas for the WBC strap. It wasn't a robbery. I'll stay there. It wasn't a robbery, but for me, Ball won. Ball beat Dogbo recently to get this shot. And he's only little. He's tiny. He's like 5'3" or something, but he's built like an absolute pit bull. And he really ragdolled Vargas around. It wasn't pleasing on the eye by any stretch, but he definitely, for me, won it by a couple of rounds. It was a couple of knockdowns, and Vargas looked tired towards the end. He was really struggling to keep Ball's pressure away. And for me, Vargas probably on the back nine now. They scored it a draw. Disappointing. They're going to appeal it apparently. I think the WBC will have to run that one back because it was a good fight. It was fun to watch, but it just wasn't very pleasing. It wasn't any silky skills on show. Certainly not from Ball. He was very just aggressive, pit bull type fighter, and I'd definitely give it a watch, but don't expect to see any masterclasses. Main event, obviously, I'm sure the lads will talk about that on the main podcast. Anthony Joshua puts an end to this MMA nonsense by absolutely starching Ngannou, proving a long-held point. I've been pitching to everyone who listen that boxers, they just hit different to MMA guys. I'm sure you've all seen this, and I've seen numerous breakdowns of the fight, what it was. Joshua just destroys him and does what Fury should have done 4 months ago. We could have put a stop to this 4 months ago if Fury had come in shape and taken it seriously. And this leads to what I really wanted to get to this week, is my view on the heavyweights currently. Because there's a lot of British people a lot of British fighters in there. Arguably 2 of the top 3 are British. And I've got long-held views on this that I've argued consistently with Trav and really anyone who listens. And the main point of that is that I think Tyson Fury is incredibly overrated. I'll start with Wilder, because Wilder's arguably his second best win. Klitschko's obviously, for me, his best win, 2015. That's peak Fury. But even to get to that spot, he definitely lost against Big John McDermott, 3 or 4 years previous. He was given a gift of a decision there in their first fight. But he carries on through, and he beats Derek Chisora, and he beats a couple of other gatekeepers. And he gets the Klitschko fight, and that was superb. He did well there, but if you watch it back, it was a terrible fight to watch. He beats Wilder. I think he beat him 3 times, in all honesty. But I don't know that they've aged that well, those fights. Wilder really was beaten handily by Joseph Parker. He was behind on everyone's cards against Luis Ortiz, and who knows how old Luis Ortiz was. He could be 47, 48 when he fought him, for all we know. And I think that most of his big fights, Bermane Stiverne, first fight, but Stiverne wasn't exactly in the pantheon of great heavyweight champions. The second fight was an embarrassment. So I think Wilder was probably the most protected and with the worst resume heavyweight champion I've seen for many years. He was allowed to just fight bums on the WBC mandatory list for me, and I don't rate him that highly. He's incredible power, great knockout artist, but I think had he come up against, even a Joseph Parker, I think he earlier on in his career, I think he may well have lost there as well. So that then the knock-on effect of that is that Fury's second, third best wins are both against Wilder, who I think is pretty weak. For me, Fury doesn't live the life. He's getting old now. He's balloons. He gets fat. He gets skinny. He's like too small. He's too heavy. He cuts like his skin's like paper. And for me, I think that Usyk beats him. As long as he's not allowed to just lean and hug and grab, or Usyk can find a way around that. I could see an argument that he'll hug his way to some sort of decision, but a clean, dominant performance, I just don't see. And I would be, honestly, not surprised if he somehow managed to pull out again. I think his ego is a bit fragile on that front. I don't think he beats Usyk, and I also am adamant now that he doesn't beat Joshua. I always thought Joshua would beat Fury. He's just as strong, just as big. But this new sort of Joshua 3.0, where he's not boxing off the back foot, where he's seeking and destroying like he did in his like he did against Valin and he did against Ngannou. And don't get me wrong, Ngannou's a novice, but people were picking Ngannou to win, and Ngannou put Fury on the seat of his pants. This new seek and destroy KO merchant AJ, that's what he should have been his whole career. When he changed trainers and he started trying to box off the back foot and control the ring and move around, he's not that. He's just a really heavy-hitting big guy with some good fundamentals and a bit of movement. That's what he should be doing. And I still don't think that he beats Usyk. I think Usyk's number one. But I think when we get it, because we'll definitely get it, even if they're both in their 40s, we will get Fury-Joshua. It's too big a fight in the UK. When we get it, I think I'll finally be proven right that Joshua beats Fury. I'm certain of it. For me, Fury, third best heavyweight currently, third best heavyweight of this generation probably. And in terms of, he's the greatest head-to-head of all time. I don't buy that either. Lennox Lewis would spark him in 4 or 5 rounds. Yes, he gets up off the floor, but he gets knocked down to the floor a lot by light punchers, cruiserweights. So, been meaning to put this out for a while. Most people don't agree with me. Travis doesn't agree with me. None of my friends agree with me. But I'm sticking to this. And if Usyk loses to Fury cleanly and Fury does a job on him, I will gladly come on here and tell you all I know nothing and Fury's the best heavyweight in the world. Have a great week. I'm going to be watching fights this week. I'll come back to you next week with a roundup of what's going on in the UK.